Let me just say this up front. Nothing tests the strength of a marriage like deciding to go on a diet together, especially when someone accidentally finds the emergency cookie stash hidden behind the emergency flashlight, under the emergency toilet paper, on the top shelf that supposedly no one can reach without a ladder or divine intervention. We're talking about two seniors, one fridge, zero self-control, and one big box of oatmeal chocolate chip betrayal. Stick around, because this isn't just a story about dieting after 60. It's about temptation, teamwork, and the deep spiritual battle between Kale and Keebler elves. And yes, there will be a prayer at the end. One that I suspect the Lord has heard many, many times before. It all started like most noble quests. On a Monday, right after Sunday night of cheese, regret, and what my doctor lovingly refers to as your blood trying to thicken into fudge. My husband and I looked at each other across the breakfast table. He had one hand on his coffee and the other resting gently atop his belly, like a proud father guarding a future food baby. I said, "Harold, we need to do something." He nodded solemnly. "We can't keep eating like we're 25. He took a bite of buttered toast and replied, "I feel like I'm eating for two and neither of them exercises." So that was it. The sacred pact was made. No more sugar. No more snacking. No more late night rendezvous with peanut butter on a spoon over the sink like fugitives. We wrote a plan. We got a whiteboard. We bought kale. We Googled how to cook quinoa without hating your entire existence. And for 3 whole days, we were warriors. Until... Now, let me paint the scene. It was a Thursday. I had just finished what I believe was a salad pretending to be dinner. A few leaves of spinach, something called nutritional yeast, which I'm still convinced is just grated cardboard, and a vinaigrette, so light it may have been a gentle whisper. And then it happened. Harold was in the garage looking for a flashlight, and he came back in with a look on his face I hadn't seen since the moon landing. "I found them," he whispered. I said, "Found what?" He held up the box like it was the Ark of the Covenant. Cookies. A Costco-sized box of oatmeal chocolate chip cookies from Christmas, tucked away in what we later agreed was not technically lying, just emotional self-preservation. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "They were still fresh." My soul left my body for a moment. Now, any good diet plan has loopholes. Ours was no exception. Harold sat down with the cookies on the table like we were discussing international peace treaties. He said, "Just one, as a treat. We've been so good." I stared at the box. It stared back. "They're not even that bad," he said. "Oatmeal's basically a grain. Chocolate? Antioxidants. Fiber? I feel fibrous just looking at them." And then the words that sealed our fate. It would be rude to let them go stale. Reader, we did not eat one cookie. We ate 6, each, standing over the sink, whispering, just this one between bites. We ate with the desperation of 2 people who feared they might forget what joy tastes like. I found Harold later, staring at the empty box like it had personally betrayed him. I asked, "Do you think we've ruined everything?" He said, "Maybe just our dignity and our glucose levels." I sat down beside him and whispered, "Let's blame it on the dog." We don't even have a dog. Later that night, as I sat in bed with kale guilt and cookie breath, I did what any spiritual woman would do. I prayed, not one of those fancy prayers with thou and beseech. No, this one came from deep inside the gut, somewhere between the 3rd and 4th cookie. Folded hands the prayer, "Lord, I know you want me to be healthy. I know you created my body as a temple. Though lately it's been more like a buffet. I know sugar is the enemy, but Lord, have you ever had a warm oatmeal chocolate chip cookie with just a hint of cinnamon and that perfect chewy center that tastes like childhood and comfort and everything good in the world? Please forgive my weakness. I meant well. I still do. Help me find balance. Help me say no to things that harm me, even when they come in a resealable package. And help Harold, Lord. He ate the last cookie and blamed me. Amen. Here's what we learned. Dieting is hard, especially after a certain age when your metabolism moves slower than your neighbor with a bad hip and walker. Temptation is sneaky. It hides in forgotten cupboards, old habits, and in the eyes of someone you love holding cookie like it's Holy Communion. Laughter helps. If you're going to break a diet, at least do it with someone who can make you laugh about it afterward. Progress, not perfection. One box of cookies doesn't erase all the healthy choices we made. It just made us human again. Forgiveness. For yourself. For your spouse. And sometimes for whoever keeps putting cookies on sale during senior hour at the grocery store. So we made a new plan. No more extreme diets. No more guilt spirals. We focus on real food, movement that feels good, and savoring treats in moderation, not in shame. We even bought smaller plates. And we've hidden the cookie box in a harder place to reach. Okay, it's in the garage, in the freezer, behind the frozen peas we never eat. But we're getting there. We're improving. One laugh, one walk, and maybe one cookie at a time. Let me tell you something dangerous. More dangerous than forgetting your blood pressure meds before bingo night. It's the phrase, just a taste. That phrase is a liar. A sweet, buttery, chocolate-dipped liar. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Just a taste of pie. Just a taste of fudge. Just a little sliver of that cake that your neighbor brought over just because. But let me tell you what just a taste really means. It means one fork becomes two. Two bites become a triangle. And before you know it, you're licking frosting off your thumb and asking, did anyone see me do that? Harold once said, just a taste won't hurt. 10 minutes later, we were scraping the bottom of the banana pudding dish like two raccoons who just discovered civilization. We tell ourselves we deserve it. And we do. We've lived long enough to know that joy comes in small moments, and sometimes those moments are made of butter and regret. But here's the trick. Mindfulness over madness. So now, before we indulge, we pause, close our eyes, breathe deeply, and then still eat anyway, but now it's spiritually aware. Folded hands, bonus prayer, the just one bite prayer. Lord, I stand before you in weakness, with a spoon in one hand and a napkin in the other. You gave us the fruit of the earth, but also sugar, and that was honestly a bold move. When I say just a bite, you and I both know that's not true. Help me to pause. Help me to chew slowly. Help me to stop when full, or at least before I lick the plate. I know you want me to be healthy, but you also gave me taste buds, and I'm trying to honor both. Amen. To anyone watching this who's ever struggled with food or temptation, or just staying on track, you're not alone, especially if you're over 60, when your body wants rest, your heart wants cookies, and your doctor wants you to eat twigs and live forever. You're doing better than you think. You're here. You're trying, and you're allowed to laugh along the way. Lord, I thank you for giving us taste buds. I thank you for giving us willpower and also for giving us second chances when willpower goes out the window. May we nourish our bodies, strengthen our hearts, and when cookies come into our lives, may we meet them with moderation, or at least with milk. Amen. If this video made you laugh, Share it with someone who's ever hidden cookies in a shoebox under the bed. And remember, self-improvement isn't about perfection. It's about progress with a smile, grace for the stumbles, and the occasional crumb in your bra.